Folks, it's Fernando doing our video for the Modern Survivalist, and this is going to be a honest pocket EDC update as of what I had with me yesterday, but also maybe a little bit more interesting, a little incident that took place yesterday and how Pocket EDC saved the day. Now, the thing is this, yesterday it's pretty hot here. I was just wearing, underwear and t-shirt. So were my kids. Very hot, air conditioner turned on, and trying to stay as fresh as possible. My wife is going to the little supermarket store, the grocery store nearby. It's just a couple blocks away, and I don't want her carrying heavy stuff. So I tell her, give me a second. I'll just put on my pants and go with you. I didn't have anything. I mean, I had just underwear, t-shirt, and just quickly grabbed my 511 shorts, the tack light shorts, and this is the stuff that was in there. The thing that wasn't was the cell phone. It was right next to it, but I didn't have my wallet. Just they had placed it somewhere else. I mean, 90% of the time, I'm never out of the house, obviously, without my wallet. I mean, I need it up for obvious reasons. But yesterday, this thing that happens that you think, yes, just a couple of blocks, I'll be back in a minute, I don't need anything. Fortunately, this was in the pocket, in my pockets already. And by this I mean I had my cell phone, which is new. I'm going to be doing a video about how I got this. Actually, it was free for me. Got it without paying a single cent. A little video on that later on. My keys with the mini champ, the little flashlights, the Through Night T10, the Cold Steel, clip point Voyager, Leatherman, the lighter that I did show in another video. Pocket piece, silver 1964 coin, and a few coins. This was what was in the pockets already when I put them on. So I'm walking down the street with my wife, and we see this this situation. We see there were a couple cars parked on the side of the road, and people screaming and shouting. It was a woman. There was a baby crying out loud, pretty noticeably. An older woman and a couple other people next to it. And as we walked by, it seemed like a situation of domestic violence of some kind. Everyone shouting and screaming at the same time. And most of all, I noticed the baby. The woman was keeping it like pressed against her, and it looked as if they were fighting over the baby of some kind. Now, usually the advice is don't get involved, and my wife told me, leave it, let it be, or you could see actually a couple bystanders that were watching, staring from a distance, but no one really wanted to approach. And I mean, if you take shooting classes, self-defense shooting classes, usually the thing that's taught to you is do not get involved. If it's not your fight, don't get into a fight. Now the thing is, there's a baby there, and it's clearly the center of all this, and that's kind of where I draw the line, because if it was my kid, I wouldn't want people to just stand by when my kid is being hurt. So I just go there and ask what's going on here. And as soon as I approach, I see that something is going on. The baby, like a few months old, very, very little, has the head pressed against the woman's chest and crying desperately. And as soon as I approach them, they start screaming, scissors, scissors, do you have scissors? And I see that the baby's ear is stuck to the woman's chest. Now the baby had earrings, stupid, yes, absolutely. Never would put earrings on my own kid, on my own daughter. But this baby clearly has earrings, and the earring was stuck in the fabric of the woman's top, and they could not break it loose. Now, don't ask me how they got into that situation. Obviously, we were very violent and stupid people at the same time. That goes without saying by their actions. But the top was like wrapped up, all bunched up, with the earring stuck in there. I suppose they tried to move and maneuver the baby out of there, and just made everything worse. And the ear of the baby was stretched like an elastic band about to snap. I do not know how they could possibly screw things up so bad, but that was the situation. Now, I had I actually had 3 knives with me, so I wasn't poorly prepared, but and one of the older woman was I mean, as soon as I saw that, I got in there fast, brought out my knife, and told them to move away. The woman did have the baby's head against her her chest where it was sort of stuck with the earring there, and you could see the little ear, awful, just stretched very badly. And what I assume was the grandmother was holding for me the fabric of the woman's top for me to cut. While all of this was happening, what I assumed was the father of the kid was just screaming and shoving and punching the woman, like blaming her for what happened. A complete idiot of a man that, just, I don't know if it was seeing the baby being hurt like that just made everyone nervous. You just don't know what's going on there. But I had everyone moving. I had the stupid father pushing and shoving the woman for some reason. I had the woman shaking, the baby crying, and the woman's hand trembling like that. Now I had this, which would have been like smaller, so maybe better, but all this happened like in a fraction of a second. The thought process. This was clearly too big to cut through the little opening that I had, especially with everyone moving and the baby's ear there. But this was just perfect. Now, the first thing I remember actually doing was bringing out this one, the hook. Now, as soon as I brought it out, I realized that if I pulled on the fabric, the bunched up fabric with a little earring stuck inside and the little baby's ear, I was going to be ripping the kid's ear off, because you need considerable strength to cut through a belt with this. For a second, I thought about using this, which is intended for that sort of thing. But again, the serration motion would have been too much. Again, it was like one of those cartoons where you see someone's tongue stretched to the limit where it's about to snap. That was the little kid's ear. The little baby's ear was like that. And I brought out the main knife, trying to be extremely careful not to cut anyone or anything that I wasn't supposed to. And I just slid it in the little opening that I had, and I had sharpened. One of the things I remember thinking is I had just sharpened this blade just a few days ago, and it was razor sharp. It was hair popping sharp, still is. So I thought that, being so narrow, it would be ideal for this thing. So while everyone moved, trying to remain cool, I just slid it in, and as soon as I touched the bunched up fabric, it was so tight. As soon as I touched it, it just went through it like nothing. It was like a hot knife through butter. Just cut through it, and that was it. As soon as I touched through it, I just cut it, and the baby's head got free, and the little patch of the woman's top stuck to the baby's ear there in the earring. A big stupid earring that shouldn't have been there in the first place. But that was it. I mean, everyone was happy at that. By then, the stupid husband kept shouting and screaming to this poor woman for some reason. But just going to show how it saves the day. EDC does save the day. Does it seem like it? You carry it for years. I mean, you always use it for little things. It's always handy. But sometimes it honestly really makes a huge difference. And it's not just this. There's other examples of people getting stuck with ropes or cloth around their necks, and lives being there in a if you don't have something to cut through it and break people free, it maybe end up with someone even getting killed or strangled to death. The escalator thing with shoelaces, machines, anything that all of a sudden you need to cut through something, you just need to have your tools with you. It's why we do this. Sometimes it seems like obsessive compulsive, but when it does save the day like this, it just makes so much more sense. Also working in layers, I mean, again, completely honest, I didn't even have my wallet with me. I just had what was there in my pockets. Yes, you should always think better about things, but the thing is this: when you work in different layers, even if you just had your keys, because you work in layers and you have 1, 2, 3 layers and two flashlights, you always have something, especially with a keychain thing, which I've always believed in quite firmly, that at least you have this, at least you have a number of tools which can make a huge difference. Finally, have your tools and care for them properly. If this hadn't been as sharp as it was, it wouldn't have worked as well as it did. Folks, it's gonna be all for now. Remember to subscribe, share this story with others. Take care, see you on our next video.